Wow, my wife and I just returned from our grand excursion of Europe, our European grand excursion, which was for 30 days of all over the place. And I want to show you what worked and what didn't work with our packing to make it successful. And it was successful. First thing, I wanted to show you this because it's not on my camera right now. We did use this safety strap on the cameras to make sure they weren't stolen. We were told a couple of places were problemed areas like Milan and that Spain place. What's the name of that place?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
No, you have to show to them how you use it.
They know what it is. It straps on the
Okay.
bottom of the phone. It goes around your wrist so somebody doesn't just run off with it like that. You know, like a purse thing. Okay, so this is what I wore a lot of the trip. From the shoes, black shoes that are walking shoes or running shoes, to these leisure pants. It's actually called a commuter pant that's made out of plastic, basically. You know, the polyester. It worked well. Was easy to clean. Dries fast. I wore. This was a prize shirt, 100% cotton. Really useful to have. I also brought polyesters, which didn't work. And especially with this, I could cover it easily with my little bit thicker black button-down shirt like this. And so I had a easy to access shirt to keep my arms warm, and then I had a windbreaker over the top. I'll get to that in a second. So it worked. That worked really well for changing. Through the course of this, my backpacks are really important in Europe when you're traveling as much as we did. We basically did one city a day, traveling by train each day, staying overnight, touring the city in the evening, or excuse me, afternoon and evening, and leaving the next day on the train or cruise ship to the next location. Through the course of it, found that putting this shirt in this side pocket was really convenient because then I could just put it away easily. Likewise, I learned this pocket was great for putting my windbreaker rain jacket here to keep the rain off. And it poured on us in Barcelona. We were glad we had it. We also had rain in Milan, but we were fortunate enough to not be out in it and could wait. So this backpack worked great. Something that was recommended, also worked well for us, was a microfiber towel. This one comes in a mesh thing here, and it dries pretty easily. Even if we had to pack it away wet, it would dry in that mesh thing. And I just had it inside this outside pocket, so it would get plenty of access to the air and dry off during the day. I brought an extra strap in case I needed to strap something or something broke or something. Never had to use it. Almost was using it, because one of the problems with this backpack, which I bought cheap on Temu actually, I don't remember, but I think I got a great deal at like $15 on it. But this backpack doesn't have a strap from the right shoulder strap to the left shoulder strap to hold it together. So sometimes it would want to slide off my shoulder. So I really do recommend that with a backpack, you make sure you have one that has a strap that goes across and clips here so you don't lose it. Okay, so the ground in Europe is really variable. Everything from cobblestones, which they have a lot of there, to flattened stone. We do carved stones, tiles basically, that are perfectly smooth and quite wonderful. They don't use cement very much. They seem to only use asphalt on the roadways, but they love to put cobblestone everywhere, which if you're using rolling luggage means that every piece of cobblestone that goes over is going to be shaking and baking it. In fact, when we were in Amsterdam, we got up one morning walking to the train station, and we walked past a rolling suitcase that had been spread out on the floor on the ground and left behind because one of its wheels is completely missing, and apparently it was unusable for them. So they just took everything out of it, carried it away, left the luggage behind. So definitely don't pack heavy. Don't pack like you're going to stay at your grandma's house for the summer. Dress like you're just going out and you're going to be moving every day. Okay, so that was that pocket. What we have. Ibuprofen, definitely useful to have on trips. Always needed a few times for some reason, especially dehydration. It's easy out. We didn't actually bring spoons, forks, and knives, these plastic ones, but we picked some up along the way, and they were very useful to like eat yogurt that we bought in the grocery store in the morning, as we left on the train. I brought Ziploc bags. Didn't end up using them much. We used them a little bit, but not very much. But they're so light and easy to pack away. I would still recommend you get them. I had a second strap. Never needed it. Same as the first one, only a little fancier. There's our stirrer things. We didn't end up finding any knives, so we ended up using it's these stirrer sticks for spreading peanut butter on bread when we bought some to eat on the train. Of course, never forget your passport. That's a must situation. In fact, when we entered San Francisco and talked to the immigration folks, I asked, "Well, can I show my ID? What's the name of that kind of ID?
Real ID.
My real ID that's based on a passport and stuff." They said, "No, when you come back in the United States, you have to show a passport, not real ID." So we had originally, I bought a 360 camera, and this is a bullet thing for it. I didn't ever use it, but it's also a tripod. I could have used it for something. I didn't use it as much as I should have because we were just busy. All right, and I also brought a magnet to hold it up if I wanted to mount it somewhere and talk to the camera or something. So, and then I brought a selfie stick for the 360 camera, Insta360. I'm looking forward to processing that. So Insta360 tripod or pole worked great. Love it. It's the one that came with it. Liked it. We're using the 360 camera. We brought these luggage locks, which we thought we would be able to use in the hostels as our security lock for drawers and doors and anything to put our bags and cabinets and things. They worked sometimes, but often this small area wasn't big enough, and we just didn't bother with it. We were usually with our luggage often, and equally often we were able to use these as necessary. Right at the end of the trip, ended up buying a pair of these at one of the hostels. They were mostly out at the hostels. They said, "Oh yeah, you can get one of these things." Oh, we're out of them for just a couple dollars. And these work better because they have a larger loop for it. So I bought a pair of those just so I would have them as necessary in the future, even if we didn't get a chance to use them. I brought a translator, a verbal translator here, digital, but we didn't use it even once, I don't believe. Okay, these I didn't bring with us, but it's a Paris or France Metro card. We had to pay $2 a piece for these, which wasn't really an expensive thing for them, but then you pay for each ride as you go along the way and use these cards. So that was not bad. I should have, for coming back, brought my BART ones to use the Bay Area Rapid Transit more easily, because they charge for these things that you have to use also, at least when we went recently coming back, the other one, because there was two of us. So down here, I use this for the jacket or for something, but unfortunately, in the last days before we came back, I went and grabbed it by the strap here, and it ripped out right here. So it wasn't built to be lifted by. The top was. Up here it has a lifting strap, and the shoulder straps work fine. This is basically a sack, backpack sack that closes up to keep the rain off. Ended up buying and bringing this Ripstop very light backpack, which worked great. It turned out to be the right size. I always bring now, it's like a 10-foot charging cable, because you never know how far you're going to be away from the charging wall thing, where your seat's going to be. So I bring one of these so I'm not forced to sit on the floor or something if I have a chair that's 6 feet away or so. Nice long one. This one's sturdy and stable. Recommend bringing those for you wherever you go, that you have at least one of them along the way. Okay, we're on this. Okay, in the small pocket, we have a whole variety of stuff that I would recommend and otherwise. This was an adapter for my USB-C cell phone. I previously was able to use a regular plug, an 1/8" plug, but no longer. But this was nice because you can charge through this one side into your phone and listen to a headset, the old standard stereo headset, with the other side. Very useful. Your situation might change, but for this purpose, it worked out great. Earphones, earplugs, I mean, for hostels, very useful. Brought a few. Recommend those. Small Ziploc bags. If you have little Ziploc bags for stuff like this, I do recommend that you have them. A friend gave us some euros saying that we would want those for using the toilets in Europe because they charge everywhere. We didn't actually use any. The only place that might have been a question was in Paris at a McDonald's, where the McDonald's literally gave us these plug tokens that are apparently the same size as a euro to use if necessary. I brought extra.
We use it to deposit key in the hostel.
What was that?
We use it to hostel deposit.
Oh yeah, we did need some change at some hostels to put down as a deposit for the key, which was often a card key of a couple dollars, and so it was useful to have them, I would say so. I'm sure there's another way. If you brought a credit card, especially the modern credit card that you can tap to pay, everybody's got them now, but that was really important to have the tap to pay, because in a lot of locations, the metros, the subways and things, you could use the tap to pay, so you didn't even have to think about buying a ticket somewhere, buying a card somewhere. You could just use the tap to pay, go through, and sometimes you had to tap out when you left the metro, the subway. Other times you just tapped in once, and that's all they needed. They'd charge you for 90 minutes or something. Yes, of course, a headphone, earplugs, earbuds. I prefer the earbuds because they block the sound around and work better. Very useful, of course, for going on the airplane or listening to music while you're riding on the trains or somewhere. Definitely useful to have along. Also, you often shouldn't be listening out loud to the sound as you're traveling because it interferes with other people's life. Eye Eye Pro. It's not technically eye protection. It's just a blinder for at night. Recommend you bring one of those. Yes, of course, sunglasses. I have these metal ones, and I brought the metal specially because I was concerned they might break, and I know that these metal ones I can bend back into shape, and they're pretty tough. Oh yes, this for my hair, which constantly needed it, but didn't get as much attention as I would have liked. Some of those important things. We brought these flight pillows, super expanded ones that take up a lot of space and stuff, but go down for the flight because it was 10.5 hours from Lisbon to San Francisco and another 2.5 hours from Lisbon to Milan, Italy. And these were useful for the long part to be able to be more comfortable and sleep. I bought these just before I left. Little water bag satchels made out of thick but flexible plastic. They worked great. They have a clip if you want to clip them on the outside. They have a flip up top with a rubber seal here. They didn't leak at all. To fill them up, you unscrew them. And you could fill them up easily everywhere. I never had a problem with them, except that for me and for my size and for traveling, I needed 2 of them because one just wasn't enough. So I have another one in here too for it. So 2 was about right for me. For a woman, maybe 1 of that size. More Ziploc bags. You know, they give you wooden forks, knives, and spoons in Europe in a lot of places. I don't like the feel of the wooden ones, by the way. These others that were like plastic, composite, wood, something were good. You're going to need to have some way to charge your phone. We bought this European universal block to plug our phone into, which found out this is basically European, German, Swiss. Swiss is slightly smaller than the German ones, and this actually fits Swiss. So on some of the trains, this wanted to fall out. We had to tap it in, maybe at a different angle. It's also got this for Australia, and this for, I don't remember where this one's for. On the side, it has 2 USB chargers directly. Found that this didn't charge as fast on the USB chargers here as it did if I plugged in the US charger. This was my wife's pink one, which actually I found charged faster, probably because the amperage was higher for that. So it actually charged faster using these combined rather than using this USB one on the side. And it has the other side in case you needed it. I needed it for something but never did. So we often use it like that. Finally, in Budapest, we bought one of these from a cheap store that we were walking past, and I said, we need this because, as I said, that these plugs, the plug that I have here is narrower for Swiss and kept coming out. You might be able to see the width distance. Let's see if I hold it this way, how the Germany and European non-Swiss one is actually thicker, and so it hold into, and this one didn't want to hold in very well. But this plugged in all the way around and held nice and tightly, because on the trains you're going to want to do a lot of charging, and we did. You could also plug our American plug into this directly so that we could charge faster that way. I'm not sure if the USB would have worked. So this bag was really useful. I brought a CC, USB-C to USB-C charging cable, never used it once. but I wouldn't go without it because it might have been useful. Never know. At one point, I desperately needed more battery life on my phone as we were using the phone, Google Maps, to travel around, and my phone ran out of battery power. So we're like, how are we going to find our way back to our hostel? This is a battery backup charger with cell on one side that you can plug into your phone to have extra battery time. We did end up using this at one point after I ran out of power a previous day, so I didn't go without this in the future. Useful to have a battery backup in case you can't get charged, you're out running around. My other USB charger for the phone, which, as I said, was a little slower than my wife's. So this bag was really useful. Worked great. It was the right size so that I could put a shirt and jacket on for day tripping around to do our touring. Usually we would go to our hotel or hostel, drop off our large bag, grab our smaller bag, and be able to go tour around with food in it, some clothes, shirts to stay warm, or a place to put them. The cameras and things we needed in there was very useful. I brought a travel bag full of my bathroom stuff, very useful. I was told that I should make sure I have a hook on it, a loop on it, so that I could hook it. That's true. I liked it, except the one thing I didn't like about this is it zips from the bottom around to here. So if I zipped it all the way down, things would be falling out of it, and that wouldn't be good. You know what kind of stuff you need to bring for your bathroom bags. So I'm not going to tell you that. That's your own personal issue of what you're going to need. But really, this is mine the heaviest thing. I mean, I had an electric razor in here, which was kind of the heaviest thing, and the battery backup, and my 360 camera, and the selfie pole that goes with it. I brought this to be a day pack, a satchel here. I used it at the beginning of the trip, but I found it just wasn't quite big enough to put my shirt in, my extra overshirt, long shirt, or thing in it. So I didn't, by the end of the trip, I wasn't using it. I would have been fine with this the whole time. Easy to see, no one's going to steal it, bright orange. If they did, I could see where it went. So although this had wonderful pockets, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the side elastic pockets, it didn't really get as much use as I thought it was going to once I found that I couldn't put my shirt and rain jacket inside there. Brought these to keep my clothes separate for socks and underpants, and this one had a double zipper. This is mesh, so air can go in and out, and also you can stuff it in the stuff sack. Doesn't take up room. I brought a hat. Was very glad I did, because in Rome and Milano and other places, my head, that's getting a little thinner on the top, got plenty of sun, and my face was burned after the first day or two, couple days on the trip. And it was great to have also this strap to hold it on for the wind. The wind could blow at different times and pull it off. This one is so nice and small. I literally could fold it into a little pack, but I ended up deciding it was just faster to roll it up like this and fold it in half, stick it in the outside pocket here, so it was always ready when I needed it. Worked great, fantastic. Not necessarily the most fashionable in the world, but worked great. My shirts, this is an issue. Another bag of these stacked. Nice looking shirts, Hawaiian print, but it's polyester, plastic. When it was warm, these were a little bit too warm. So they weren't as good as cotton. I would definitely recommend cotton for shirts, but to have a couple of nice looking shirts so that you feel comfortable and not just have t-shirts all the time. I had a second one here as well. Again, plastic. So then what else do we have in here? Several t-shirts. This one had too much polyester in it, and the fact that I got it on a cruise to the Cayman Islands, but it had so much plastic on the front that it didn't let air through very much, and this one tended to get too hot, being about 50-50 polyester and such. Wife ended up buying me a couple of t-shirts there that she found cheap, which worked out fine. A black one, a gray one, and a dark gray one. Those worked out fine. My Hawaii one from the Hawaii trip. Again, 100% cotton, was very nice. This plastic on the front tended to be a little bit warmer because of that, but mostly it wasn't an issue. Right, another one of those t-shirts. And I was going to talk about the socks, because as I said, I wore the black on black on black on black and brought a tie for the cruise so that I could look formal for the formal nights in the dining rooms, which worked great. But this t-shirt, has a thing on it to cover it, and my other shirt is entirely black. But the issue was socks. I only had a couple of longer, socks here to go with this. So I had brought also down here, let's see if I can find it. Yep. I brought a pair of black sandals these are actually all plastic, all rubber. They work great. They worked as my shower shoes, and they worked as I needed for walking around. They were comfortable enough to walk all day in them, just as comfortable as these shoes, and I could wear them and have cooler feet if the weather was hotter and such for those. But I was going to say then about the socks. I brought short socks so that I could have socks, because boy, I tell you, I don't remember what hostel it was in. Yes, I do. It was Lucerne, I think. Was it Lucerne?
Okay.
So I have these short socks. One of the hostels we were in, I think might have been Paris, but don't remember now. A guy came and he took off his shoes. Apparently he's not wearing socks. His shoes stunk. No, it was Berlin. Stunk to high heaven. It was horrible. And he put them outside the window because he knew they stunk. But the window was open, so the air just blew in. So it didn't get rid of them. So I highly encourage, if you don't already wear socks with your shoes, don't be leaving that, that skin and stuff behind that stinks them all up. Keep your feet clean by wearing socks that you can wash every day or every couple of days and such. So those are those underpants. You have your thing on that. Let's see what else we have in here. Here's my tie. Something a little. This has a mathematical formula on it, but so it doesn't look too much like I'm a waiter. One cruise I went on, I had a red tie because it went so sharp with the black on black, and found that it was Carnival actually, and got there on formal night, and all the dining staff wore black with red ties. It was like I was one of them. What else? Oh, pair of shorts. For those hot days traveling, only needed one pair of shorts. Most of the time, these pants were what I want. We traveled in the month of April and May. The last week of April and the first 3 weeks of May. Brought a belt just in case I needed it. Didn't end up using it because these pants worked so perfectly without it. Almost done with the bag. What do we got down here? Oh yes, we have the laundry bag. A nice nylon laundry bag that we could stick our stuff in and throw our laundry in. Nothing in my dirty laundry that's particularly notable. The white t-shirt is notable. Wore that several days because when the sun is out, it got kind of warm. And it's good to have a white t-shirt that reflects back the sun. Make sure it's cotton and not polyester. The other sandal. And a pair of swimming trunks, which were my swimming trunks. These are my army trunks. But I swear a pair of swimming trunks that could be used for sleeping at nighttime too in hostels, because we were often in mixed dorm hostels, and so I throw these things on. I wasn't running around just in my skivvies and my thing here. And then this was the bag for the backpack. This is the 360 camera. It moved around in different places. So that's what I took, and most of that, as I said, worked out really well. A few things, plasticky shirts didn't work out well. It rained. Some people had umbrellas, but I prefer just to have the hood because you don't want to be running around in the rain anyway. So those are things that I thought were really useful. This bag turned out to be just mostly perfect for the trip. Okay, make your comments below in there of what other things you think ought to be taken along, like vitamins or something else. Always ibuprofen. And any other suggestions and any comments, criticisms, whatever. And I hope that you have a grand European excursion like we did. We ended up going to, we started Milan, went down to Florence, went down to Rome, hopped on the cruise ship from there up to Pisa. It's not Pisa actually, but right next to Pisa, and saw Pisa. Went up to Toulon, France, then over to Barcelona and Gibraltar and Lisbon, and then up to Southampton, London, by London, where we hopped on the train, raced across to go see Paris. We didn't actually see London. We were just passing through because we were going to see London in another 2 months. Then we went up through Brussels to get to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, we went across to the capital, Berlin of Germany, and then we started going further east to Budapest, Vienna, Munich, and Prague. Loved Prague. Oh, and Nice. Not Nice. Lucerne. Prague and Lucerne were great. Budapest was really, really very nice also of places. Then we went through Switzerland, stayed with friends for a couple of days for a weekend, and then back down to Milan after seeing Zermatt and the Matterhorn mountain that's there. And overall had a great time. Things worked out along the way. Hope that you try something like that yourself. I'll talk more about how we actually traveled, what transportation we took in a future video. Thanks, guys. Have a great trip.